See, you always know when there's no banter at the onset of the show that something must be going on, right? Right? Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Packfiller podcast. I'm Pat Bulger. I'm alone in the studio right now because that's right, interview season has begun. Yeah, the Packfiller interviews are back. You know the ones. You've looked through the years, through the database, through all of our files. By the way, if you haven't, you should, because there are an absolute ton of interviews I've had with all kinds of cyclists, famous and infamous and not so famous, and all the great perspectives of people throughout the years that we've been able to do this podcast. Believe it or not, we started way back in 1999. Yeah, right. Wait, there was podcasting in 1999? Yeah, there was. And some of them are pretty painful to listen to, but some of them are pretty darn brilliant, if I may say so myself. I'm Pat Bulger. Well, how do we start off the season? How do we start off the interview season? Well, the interviews are always about perspective. We're trying to gain an insight into people, into why they do what they do, and what brings us all together. And that is obviously the two-wheeled lifestyle, straddling a top tube and riding it as far, where, whatever, however, whatever distance, whatever surfaces you choose. And I've always been fairly fascinated with the guys or women or whatever that I've given the term of mile heads. Mile heads. Those are the people who just go out there and go out there and go out there for insane amounts of distances and time, and aren't necessarily trying to go as fast as they possibly can, but are just wearing themselves down, doing those epic endurance miles. And I always wanted to gain the perspective. And locally, we have a great mile head culture. A lot of great personalities, and I always wanted to gain some insight into those. And so what a greater opportunity to do that than to talk to some of my friends, Justin, Ethan, and a guy by the nickname of The Mao. I think it's The Mao. We're going to find out within the context of the interview, number one, how to pronounce it, and number two, where it came from. But Mileheads, great talk, three great guys on the Packfiller interviews. Today's show is all about perspective, everybody. Cyclists, as we all know, tend to be a pretty picky group. Although we all straddle the top tube, step on pedals, and balance on two wheels whilst propelling ourselves forward, we each think that the style of propulsion is different from others, dependent upon the terrain, season, and most of all, distances. So we here at the Packfiller are definitely open to all forms of cycling, but sometimes we are some forms that we want to gain a bit more insight into. So let's get to that. Let's do that. Let's step inside the mind of the milehead. That's a compliment, gentlemen. It's a term I came up with myself just recently to define a super distance cyclist. I'm sure our guests have better term, however, but you guys could probably come up with one before I even get to your introductions, right?
Goofballs. I don't know.
Goofballs. Yeah. So let's welcome to the show our panel for tonight. Gentlemen, welcome to the Rim Break Bar, first of all, and the Packfiller podcast. Please, when I introduce you, let us know how long you've been a cyclist and the most recent crazy thing you have done on a bike. We always like to get to know our panel with a little bit of just kind of an icebreaker here. So first and foremost, returner to the show and the reason why this is all happening, Mr. Justin Short. How are you, man?
Fantastic. How about you?
I'm okay. Yeah. I can already tell for a destined fact that you guys are all dressed in full kits, and I'm still sitting here in my work clothes, that your ride week has been better than mine, so I'm doing okay.
My bottom half is still business casual.
Yes. I wish we had a visual for that, but I don't have the cameras on. Justin, talk to me. How long you been doing this, and the most crazy thing you've done recently on a bike?
I was the last kid in my neighborhood to get my training wheels off at 6 years old.
No shit.
Someone broke in to my storage unit at the Ugly Green Apartments and stole my goddamn training wheels.
Really?
I could never ride again.
That's it.
That was it.
So you've done it. You've just been completely stopped ever since.
Yeah, well, Mom took me outside. She's like, let's just give it a try. I was like, no, I can't. And
let me guess. This was like the parents shoving the kid into the water and hoping they just figure out how to swim, right?
She gave me a little push on the little stretch of sidewalk, and I swerved and fell and skinned my knee. See, I can never ride again. She's like, it's okay. Let's try it again. It's like, no, I can't. Let's just try it again. And she gave me a shove, and I made it all the way to the end of the sidewalk and whipped it around in the grass, and it was coming back. I swerved and crashed. I was like, I'm riding. And yeah, I rode through that spot on the last crazy thing that I did. Flew into D.C. last month, and there's a 350 canal/rail trail all the way to Pittsburgh.
Holy
and
shit.
so I rode that thing straight through.
One sitting.
Literally one sitting.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Okay.
You got out of the saddle once or twice.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was no place that was comfortable for the last 150 miles.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
But that was on account of the salt. Like, my saddle game is dialed, and I was not having saddle sores. But
Okay,
I
we're
was
going
having-
to
yeah,
get to that.
yeah.
We're still just...
Yeah.
First of all, you
So-
just basically told me that
So
you've
there-
been a
that was
cyclist since birth.
Yeah.
And that you just rode a 350 miler. All right. Wow. Second of all, Mr. Ethan Stewart, did I get your name right? Because I just met you tonight.
My last name's actually Washam. I know it's a
Washam.
little deceptive.
What is Stewart then?
Stewart is actually my grandma's maiden name,
Oh, really?
so I just
just-
keep it on Facebook to be kind of anonymous. But the
Okay.
secret's out.
Well, I
now.
just fucked it up.
That's all right, it's all
Okay. Right on. So I've just outed you to the entire witness protection program.
No,
Big
you've probably
Brother's
cleared up
listening.
a lot of confusion. To answer your original question,
Yeah.
I think I started riding around the age of 8. That was the first time that I didn't have training wheels, and it's a funny story because my mom had this magnolia tree that she had planted, and doesn't snow that often in South Carolina, but whenever it would, she would make sure to take all the ice off the leaves and whatnot. And I thought it'd be a fun idea to see how close I could get to the magnolia tree without hitting it. And it was a small sapling at the time, and it took me about 2 tries before I just right in the middle of it and broke the thing right in half.
Oh, shit.
My mom came out and she was pretty upset. And I had this idea that I could make it all better by bringing her $20 and giving her $20. She didn't take the $20, but that was the first day I learned how to ride a bike. So
So you paid off your mother.
yeah,
Right.
pretty much. So I guess 21 years of riding, and she still lets me ride.
Really?
The
Yeah.
interest on that would be pretty steep. But
That would.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should have invested.
Recent crazy thing you've done.
I
Doesn't
did.
have to be distance, by the way.
Yeah, no. I was up in Roslyn this past weekend, and there's a route called the 7 Summits, so I did that. I wouldn't necessarily call it crazy, but it was
gonna-
mountain biking,
Yeah.
so it's different than the road biking.
Distance and elevation, do you know offhand?
Yeah, I think it was 22 miles, and it was about 4,000 feet.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
that's
and did it on a full squish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
I'm working on this. It sounds like you guys have been losing bets or something like that. and Mr. I'm going to script your how I want to know where the Mo comes from.
It's the Mao.
The Mao.
Yeah.
Okay. Where does it come from and how does it?
It's a long story.
Yeah.
Let's just say it was a drunken argument at a party,
Okay.
and it used to be the Mao,
The Mao.
and that long story turned into, listen, I'm the motherfucking Mao, and that's and so that's where it went.
Okay.
And so that name's been around for 20 years. It's probably been following me around.
Really?
So
And you just
I mean,
roll
you just
with it,
go
man.
with it. Yeah, everybody calls me that. I get called that more than my real name.
You
so.
guys rolled up tonight, and I was just going. And the other two guys introduced you as Chairman V. And Chairman Mao. Chairman Mao. Oh, that makes more sense. But I was just going, fuck, I'm not going to find out what to call this guy. So let's just dive into this, man.
So that's why I don't really tell anybody.
Okay.
I just let them roll with it.
Let him roll with it.
I
Yeah.
just- there's lots of people that call me on the team that call me the Mo,
Yeah.
the Mao,
Yeah.
Mao, Mo. I'm cool.
Yeah.
It's whatever.
You're an ODZ
Yeah.
guy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I know a lot of your teammates
Oh,
and stuff
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
We ride with. I've held on barely to some of those wheels before in my days.
You too, huh?
Yeah, Jesus. So, let's get to the point here. I mean, when I kind of wanted to put this together, I wanted to talk to a group of guys who are into, as I say, we talk on the show about cyclists who are just all walks of life. And the beautiful thing about this sport is, yes, we all have these things in common, but you guys go out and just crank out these massive miles on a consistent basis. And am I wrong? I'm right? Yeah. Yeah, and then some of them you post, some of them you don't, and you guys just I took 12 hours on a Saturday and rode 30,000 feet of climbing and slept in a ditch, and you're like, hey, that was fun. And I'm like going, the
Sounds like a fun weekend.
Yeah, it's just so let's start off. How many miles could you approximately say you've ridden in 2022?
Oh, you put me on the spot.
Just
first.
a rough estimate.
I rode out to the start of the Tour Divide, and then I rode half of the Tour Divide, so I know for a fact.
You're gonna break it down. Justin's got his phone out. He's adding
I'm
shit.
delaying for him so
Yeah.
he can figure his out. But that would have been around 1,800 miles right off the start.
Fuck.
And then, I don't know. It's hard because I'm not a big Strava guy.
Yeah.
It's just,
So none of your rides exist.
they
I'm
don't.
kidding. I'm joking.
Yeah, it's tricky. It's hard to convince people I actually ride. I just show them my saddle sores.
Yeah.
But I'd say probably hovering around the 3,000 to maybe 3,200 this year. So I'm not a huge miles guy.
You're not?
Unless I'm with Justin.
Okay.
And then, they just pop off.
Yeah. Justin?
4,800 right now for the year.
4,800.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm probably looking at like maybe between 7,000 and 8,000 for the year. Or something.
You are.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, not even close. There's no off season.
Yeah. There hasn't been for the last year because
Really?
every season I've had some event I'm preparing for,
Sure.
and this thing that I call training. I just go out and get lost in the woods, and
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
how I like to go about it. My fascination is just with going places I've never been before, and that.
Shit. All right.
Oh,
Idiot
Do
number
we want-
3, and I
do
mean
we
that as a
want-
term of endearment.
Strava miles or
No, just what
So
you
I'm
could
at-
say.
I'm a roadie. I know. I'm at 6,100
Oh, my
on
God.
for Strava, but I've probably got another 500 or 600 miles in there. As of now, I do a lot of me rides, and I don't take my computer. So I just pedal and go wherever. Nobody knows. I tell my wife I'm leaving, and
You're basically riding Amish.
yeah, that's a good way to look at it. That might be the new term.
You know, Jackson, who's on our show, he's my son. He calls them soul rides.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's just that it's
Bicycle
just
soul
going out
riding.
and just being, just going. Yeah. What kind of a history do you guys have with the sport? Did you come from a road at BMX or a mountain bike background, or was it just, whatever it is? And we can jump around. Anybody wants.
I
to
started
go.
first, so
Yeah.
you, Justin.
There we go.
Oh, well,
Yours is much more interesting.
Well, I raced BMX for 10 years, and then was a bike messenger for a year, and
Yeah.
So I didn't know that.
Where were
into
you
bike
messaging?
touring. Pittsburgh, and then Pittsburgh for a year, and Santa Cruz off and on for 2 years. San Diego, California for a day. San Diego
I bet
blows
there's a
goats.
story.
Yeah.
Does it really?
No offense to any riders down in San Diego.
I was
but-
I was one in Seattle for about 8 months.
Yeah, we've got that connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a brutal gig. So, so BMX, and did you do any racing in other forms, or how did this evolution come into what you do now?
I got my first road bike when I did my first bike packing trip on the BMX bike in like 92 or 93, something like that.
That's touring, or more or less back then. We still called it touring, and everybody thought it was nerdy.
Well, at the time I called it a bike trip,
Mm-hmm.
and by today's standards they'd call it bike packing. I had a duffel bag bungee to my handlebars. I was on a BMX bike, and I went 400 miles from Pittsburgh to central New York.
Did it have pegs?
It might have had pegs on
Bucky?
the left, yeah.
On the left, right.
And it had a bash guard underneath, and I had a backpack on, and I got saddle sores on my back from the backpack.
Oh my god!
And I think I rode like 80-mile days on that thing, and
Wow.
I got to my mom's farm in New York, and I thought, oh my god, this was so much fun.
Really?
And like my competitive spirit bit the dust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Because it was like, wow, this is
Do I say the, or what do I say the, or
Choose it.
the, or what do I say?
Yeah.
You're gonna be wrong and right.
I
No,
am.
you're gonna be wrong and right at the
Yeah.
same time.
So what brought you into all this? You're the only guy in a licensed club. Ethan, are you in a
I'm
licensed
not,
club?
no.
Okay, so you're
I,
in a licensed club.
I started commuting to work.
Really? Yeah.
I rode bikes as a kid. Everybody did.
Yeah.
Got away from it, started skateboarding and doing all that. Never rode a bike again. And I was super broke and was like, I want to ride to work. And somebody says, no, you can't do that. That's too far. I'm like, it can't be that far. It's only 8 miles.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, I'm riding 10 miles to work.
Yeah.
And there it is.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, just started riding. And it was super rad to chase that. You can't do that.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Can we say that might be a common theme?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
But one thing that Chairman Mao and I really clicked on when we first met, he came to the Dirty Spokanza, I think the second year I did it.
Yeah.
yeah,
And-
it was second year.
Yeah, and he came to the finish. It was down at Mojo that year, and
I gotta hit the sponsor jingle. Oh, I don't have my.
Oh, no.
computer.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
it. I gotta. Yeah.
who are we? Gooder?
No, you said Mojo.
Oh, Mojo.
Mojo.
Hey.
Yeah, there
we go.
Yeah, yeah.
Cha-ching. I gotta bring my clown horn in.
We're friends.
Yeah.
My dog will shit his pants. He doesn't have pants, but my dog will shit.
Yeah. Like we were sitting over tacos at the finish down there, and you know, he grew up here, and he's like, we were coming up over Antoine, and I was like wondering, where the fuck am I? You know, and it's like,
Was this? So this is like a epitome moment or something like that. Okay.
Yeah, so I was on the backside of Newman Lake.
Yeah.
And there's this super weird trail that goes to, I think it's McKenzie Park. Anyways, you ride through there.
oh, the Turtle Trail.
Yeah. So we get in there, and I'm riding with another guy, and we missed a turn.
Shiggy.
Yeah, Shiggy.
Yeah.
And if you haven't ridden with Shiggy, you got to do it. It's a blast.
99% of my listeners are going, what the fuck?
These names, what do they mean?
But that's okay. I think we're all along for the ride. Yeah.
So we go down this single track, and we can't even ride it anymore. We're walking over roots and rocks, and we thought, oh no, this adds up. I mean, this is the way the ride's been the entire time, so why wouldn't we?
This is where you guys start to lose me. Seriously, it's just like this when you're not on the bike. It's like,
So we're going through, and there's an oven, like an out of a house in the middle of nowhere. I mean, it's just trees. I'm like, what the hell? Then
some
we
witch
go a
is
little-
enticing
yeah.
you to get in it.
We
Yeah.
get
Did you
a little
open
bit
the
further.
oven?
No, we didn't open the oven.
Biscuits
Well, we
are
get a
done.
little farther, and there's mailboxes, and there's dishwashers, and just all these weird things. And there's Barbie dolls hung up by their
This
legs.
is Blair Witch
And-
shit,
yeah.
you guys.
Yeah.
It absolutely was.
The
So-
Blair Witch preem.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, fuck.
So Shiggy looks at me and he says, I'm opening it. And he reaches over to this mailbox, and he opens it up, and there's this like chicken skull or something, like a bird skull in it, facing out. So when you open it up, and this thing's eye level, opens it up, and there it is looking at us.
Oh my god. You guys are laughing. This is like David Lynch meets Stephen King shit, man. This is scary.
So we turn around, and he says, we should probably go.
Yeah.
Good idea. So we go back, and we realize we find where we had missed our turn, and we turn and we start going up it. And the trail is so narrow. I'm on my cross bike, and not only can I not pedal up this thing because it's so damn steep,
Yeah.
but I can't even get my bars barely through the trees. And I get dumped. They're gone. I'm like, I come up to the switchback and I stop, and that's when it hits me. I'm like, what? Where the fuck am I right now? Like, what decision did I make to wake up and say, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go do that?
And yet you keep coming back.
Yeah.
Holy shit. So, okay. Ethan, you missed out on this first question. Tell me about your history, and was there a racing influence? Was there, what brought you into all this?
Yeah. I should stop saying sorry. I already
No,
know
you're
that.
good. We're Americans. That's what we do.
Is it?
That's what we
Okay.
say before.
My brother raced BMX when I was a kid, and I remember him like wearing the helmet and the pads,
Sure.
and just it looked cool. And so
Radical.
Yeah.
maybe even radical.
Yeah.
And so I convinced my mom to buy me a BMX bike, to buy me a helmet, to buy me the pads. And as soon as she got me all that stuff, my brother decided he was done with BMX. So I had all this stuff, and I, wasn't interesting anymore because my brother didn't like it. He was my older brother. So it all kind of went in the closet, and I didn't touch it really at all until, I guess, the end of high school. And I remember my senior year, I broke up with my girlfriend, and I was sad, and so I pulled the bike out, and I was just like, I'm just going to ride this thing.
Most people write songs.
I ride bikes. And I just remember riding it and feeling better. I was just like, this feels good. All of a sudden, I just feel better. And so college rolls around, and I had that bike, and I would ride it to class back and forth, and I never oiled the chain. I didn't change the brake pads at all. And eventually, like, the bike was falling apart. And so it came time to get another bike. And I'd found this film called Line of Sight by Lucas Brunelli. It's this film all about bike messengers.
Oh, okay.
Ooh. So he was filming Alley Cats in New York City, and they're all riding fixed gears. So I was like, I'm going to get me a fixed gear. So I got a fixie, and I was living in Columbia, South Carolina at the time, and it's a rather hilly place. So a fixed gear was not necessarily ideal, but it was certainly cool. And so I rode a fixie all through college until I got hit by my first car, and then the fixie was done after that.
Yeah.
So my natural inkling was to just get another fixed gear. And so I rode fixed gear pretty much all the way through college. And then at some point I realized I was having these knee problems, and it was all because of the fixed gear. So I switched to road bike, and I don't know, there's a whole progression beyond that. But I would say that my start to being really interested in cycling was riding fixed gears.
Yeah.
And to this day, I ride single speeds when it comes to bike packing, at least when I'm doing races. And I think a lot of it started with that. It was just this appeal of just one gear and something about that.
So you do race. You do pin a number on.
I don't race, but I do take part in bike pack
we
grand
use
departs.
air quotes, yeah.
What?
It's weird.
Stop
There's this
it.
culture associated with it where you don't call it a race. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
it's a grand depart.
But there are numbers.
There are no numbers.
There are no numbers.
There are no fees, although
Okay.
it's the most expensive race you'll ever take part in because you're eating $100 of gas station food a day.
I'm
staying
going
in
to
a
get to
hotel.
gas station food.
You're cracking bike frames and replacing them on the spot. And so, yeah,
What?
it's
Okay.
expensive.
Talk to me about what you I don't want here I talk at the opening of the show about categorizing cyclists, and we need to probably do that a lot less. But if you were to categorize what you guys do, what would you define it as?
Justin always says, this weekend we're going on a misadventure.
Okay, so you're misadventurous.
Misadventures.
yeah.
Okay.
That's accurate.
I'm just going and riding bikes.
Yeah.
Justin says, you want to ride bikes? On a misadventure?
Really?
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, I just out riding bikes.
Does he tell you ahead of time what the fuck you're about to get into, or is it just
we discuss it a little bit.
Yeah,
It's
one
usually-
of us will come up with a route or,
Yeah.
grab a route from someone else. And
Is-
if it seems like a terrible idea, we're all in,
Yeah.
Okay, so you do pre-plan a route, or you do at least have something GPX file loaded, things like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's not just... Now, there are a lot of talks about getting lost, bushwhacking, riding up, walking through places with random ovens and mailboxes and potentially losing your life and while somebody else is standing in the corner.
Yeah, Blair
I'm
Witch
taking a
totems,
Blair
yeah.
Witch theme here. But how did this evolve? Talk to me about how you guys got to the point where it's... And did the mileages always start out as epic, or was it... Hey, let's just go out and do an hour and a half. Hey, let's just do 2 hours and a half. Hey, let's sleep away from home tonight. How did this evolve? Does anybody
I'll
wanna start on that one? Yeah.
Yeah, so my first mountain bike was a Kona unit, single speed naturally, and I'd found this route called the Palmetto Trail? It's in South Carolina because I was living there at the time. And so it was on bikepacking.com. I don't know if you have to do a plug for that at this point. But
I don't know him, but I'll give him
we'll
a
do
plug.
it anyways.
Yeah, yes.
Trademark it.
Yeah.
And so I'd seen what it looked like to put bikes on bags on a bike. And so I tried that out, and I kind of strapped some stuff on there, and I was like, I have 3 days. I'm just going to see what it's like to ride for 3 days. And I quickly learned just what it was like to ride at night and the appeal of it. And so it became more just about, I don't know, it's like just riding at the time you want to, however long you want to.
Okay.
And just realizing kind of what your own boundaries were. And so that's kind of how it started for me a little bit. And then once I did my first bike packing race, I began to learn what my limits were and like actually how far I could go and how long I could be on a bike. And so it's almost like the miles themselves were kind of a second thought. It was just more of like, well, let's see how far we can go, and let's see how long I can stay on the bike, and let's see what it's like to ride through the night. So it kind of was organic, at least for me.
Okay. Guys, anybody want to take a
No,
bite out of this one?
I totally agree with everything
Really?
you just
Wow.
said. Yeah, totally.
I know,
it's
like you.
my take on it's a little bit different, but I rode that Flame Tank, or the Spokanza.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. No, I mean, you started.
so-
yeah. Anyway.
When I rode that and got back as we're sitting there with eating these tacos, I thought, this was the stupidest thing I've done in a long time. But I had an ear-to-ear smile.
Really?
And it was the raddest time. And everybody, we're all sitting around this plate of tacos, no chairs. We're on the asphalt. And we're just drinking beer. And it was the coolest thing ever. And so we hooked up a couple more times. And then I rode Midnight Century.
Yeah.
And rode at night. And it blew my mind. And so then it was just like, make the two come together.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I totally agree. It just kind of just grew more and more, and I've always looked for adventure and seeing things and that type of thing.
When you ride at night, does it feel like you're 13 again?
Absolutely.
It feels like a sleepover.
Oh my
And you know what's
God.
even better than that? When it starts raining on you.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
And then you're like
Yeah.
in the zone.
Oh yeah.
You know what just popped into my head? That fascination that I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's gender bias or not, but that fascination with flashlights. My grandfather always used to say, "Give the fucking kid a flashlight, and he'll just be happy for weeks."
Yeah.
And he was right. And I sometimes when I'm riding my bike at night with lights on, I'm like, "This is that experience." And maybe it is that. Maybe it's just that stupid shut your brain off, throw it flat, just letting the light dance all over the place.
Yeah,
and
street
just having
lights
fun.
on. I'm not going home yet.
Yeah.
So we rode Mount Doom, and
To describe to somebody who doesn't know what the fuck Mount Doom
Mount
is.
Doom
Yeah.
is from Spokane. It's all dirt to the top of Steptoe Butte and back.
Which is a
It
long
was
ass
what,
ride.
170 miles or something.
178
like that.
miles was the
Yeah.
first route that we tried.
Okay, so
out,
everybody who's listening to this, you just shook off 170 miles. You went 170.
No, we were going like 4 miles an hour
Yeah.
at max effort for the entire day.
Yeah, it was
because of the
wind.
terrain,
the
and
wind,
wind? Oh,
because of the
okay,
wind and
okay,
the weather
okay.
and all that.
That was the first time.
Yeah.
But the second time, what made me think of it
There was a
is
second
we're
time?
riding. Well, we didn't
Naturally.
finish it the first one. We had to do it. We had to bail out.
Okay,
I'll fully
okay,
admit it.
okay.
I had to hang my head low and
Hey.
says I'm
Spouse
calling the
Uber.
spouse. Yeah, the spouse Uber was called. So we did it the second time, and we're coming through Spangle, and we're going up this climb, and Justin's in front of me, and my headlight's on him, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm chasing the what would you say?"
I was drafting my shadow.
Yeah, drafting my shadow up here as we're sitting there watching our shadows. So yes, the flashlight thing.
Yeah.
It's still real.
Playing with that. Are these rides predominantly gravel based?
Yeah.
Is the focus here off the beaten path?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Okay, so avoid tarmac if at all possible, right?
Yeah,
when we
we've got to
shove.
connect here and there, but
Yeah. That's just a method to get to the next section.
Mm-hmm.
But talk to me about, and you guys keep talking about having these great times and stuff like that. And I call a small amount of bullshit in the fact that, especially when I was talking to the Mojo guys about this lack of competitive nature. Because I think there is, and you guys I hope you guys are willing to admit it, there is a willingness or an excited nature to lay down the smack on your friends and realize that you're hurting less than somebody else.
There's nothing better.
Chairman's a great. Thank you.
There's nothing better than making your friends chase you.
Yeah.
Stop.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I ride road bikes, man. Come on.
Yeah. Well-
it's exciting to make your friends chase you to the next stop sign.
Yeah.
Or whatnot. Or they're settling in and you're all just riding bikes and then you attack.
Oh.
Because why wouldn't you?
Thank you. Okay. I just get tired of this. No, man, it's all peace and love, bro. It's not fucking Woodstock. You know, the first one, because the third one was competitive, if you've seen that documentary. But,
Well,
but there is a competitive nature, right?
Well, I met you on the Midnight Century. That was my gateway drug. And the Midnight Century is a pretty gentle gravel route. But, you know, like that was my gateway drug into bike packing because one of my friends, I did Thomas Yates from the Bike Hub.
Mm-hmm.
He texted me. He's like,
funny
hey,
dude, by the way. Yeah, I follow his social media. Funny guy, man.
He texted me. He's like, hey man, you got to check out this, and he sent me a link to Cross Washington. And
Jesus.
So the Cross Washington mountain bike race is a 700-mile, 90% off pavement. You know, some bushwhacking, a lot of tree hoists and dragging your bike through snow and over mountains and through balls deep canal crossings and stuff like that. He takes pride in people cursing him.
You're talking about Troy at this point.
Yeah. Sorry, the organizer, Troy Hopwood.
I think you're talking about Thomas still. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
He looks pretty lovable.
Sorry. So Troy Hopwood is the organizer of Cross Washington, and he organized this thing to try and get traffic on the Palouse to Cascade State Park Trail, which is a rail trail which goes most of the way across the state, which we almost lost a few years ago because no one was using it. And
is this John Wayne Trail? Anything associated with that?
Yeah. So they moved it under the state parks and changed the name of it.
Oh,
so I still call it the John Wayne.
I do. That's
it's way cooler.
Yeah, it's way cooler.
Yeah. It's so
welcome to Purgatory, Pilgrim. Yeah, exactly. That was a terrible impersonation, but you know.
John Wayne is rough and tough and don't take shit from no bike packers.
And I've heard it's all shale. I heard it's all terrible.
It depends.
Yeah,
if you get behind the horse train.
Oh fuck.
I snuck in front of it. I was so happy.
Yeah. It's
So how long was this adventure? And I'm using quotations.
And that's where I met Ethan.
That's another story, but yeah,
entirely another story.
700 miles.
Yeah,
700 miles. Yeah,
but you know, there's a legacy of people creating these routes who take pride in people cursing their name, as they're out there, bushwhacking.
So this competitive element is legit. It's real.
It's competitive. You're competing against yourself a lot of times.
Sure.
Like I think it sums it up in the moment when you're on the crosswashing and you're on the John Wayne Trail and there's a perfectly paved road next to you, and you know that you could be on that paved road and you wouldn't be having your
you're like
shaken out,
fucking chatterbumps.
And so there's a part of it where you're like you're competing against what you think you can do and what your mind is telling you should be doing.
Yeah, and those 4 guys from Big Sky, Montana go riding by you on the road, you fucking bastards.
Yeah.
They've been drinking beer the past 6 days.
Yeah.
Is it so but okay. We're talking about these events that you guys are becoming involved in or have been involved in, and you give them names.
You have to have a route name. Yeah. Even if it makes no sense.
Better if there's a cool sticker to go with it, but a route name is essential.
Are they racist?
No. Like he put together this one he called Mrs. McGee that goes to this
people showing
McGee
up.
Airstrip.
People showing up, all starting at the same time, riding to a specific finish line, trying to kick each other's asses, and having fun doing it.
But helping
is that
each
a
other.
race?
They're helping
sure,
each other.
helping each other. Well, absolutely. You know,
Right.
I'm going to throw somebody a spare tube if I want to. I'm not fucking stopping. But is does that classify as a race? I'm trying to bring the roadie mentality, this kick everybody's ass, to understand that yes, we are still competitive beasts. Would you classify it as a race? You don't.
Are
you gonna just deny it?
I wouldn't. I'm sorry, but
you wouldn't. Okay.
Maybe it's because I didn't spend time as a roadie
Yeah,
long
yeah,
enough, and I never did a road race. And I think my attraction to bike packing was that it was not.
Okay.
It didn't have that race culture, but there's a competitive side, and I think there's a difference between racing and being competitive.
Yeah. I mean, I watch guys like Lachlan Morton, Lil Wilcox, and stuff like that,
Absolutely.
which is it, and that is still whoever gets to the end first wins,
Right?
And that's still, in essence, a race.
Well, what I'm essentially shooting for is my usual 8th or 9th place. And that seemed to be where I end up.
That's a place, though. That's a race.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well,
Middle of
it's
the pack,
cool, though, 'cause,
baby.
like,
Yeah.
like-
Packfiller, that's what we are. That's
yeah,
what we are.
Like the,
Oh, I get it now.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's the name of the show, man. Yeah.
the draw for me is meeting people and
Yes,
goofing off
yeah.
and
Oh, God.
and going places I've never been. But it's like it's cool to see that there's GPS tracking on these things.
Sure.
Because you can, when you get a signal, you can look and see where you are and who's nearby. And,
Yeah.
like my first cross Washington, there's this guy named Ivan Moore from. He's a Brit, but he lives in Bellingham.
I thought he was from Australia.
I thought so too. Like
You shouldn't call him a Brit then.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. He's definitely a Brit.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ivan.
All right.
He's got
That's
the
a different realm.
he's got the
yeah.
Union Jack
Somebody's
on his
cursing.
frame bag, but
Okay.
but anytime I do an impersonation, it's always the Aussie that comes out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We're only so good at it. Yeah, right?
Yeah. But like I look at pull-up track leaders, I'm like, oh, Ivan's up at it. I get to ride with him for a little bit, know, and that was the cool thing. And I'd be like, I think I'm gonna ride all night tonight, and then suddenly I'd be like, way ahead, I'd suddenly go from like 15th place. I'm like, oh, I'm in 8th place now. Hey, cool.
Wow. So you guys are doing these massive miles. I mean, what's a average ride? What would you class? What's the minimum amount of distance you would say, like, yeah, that's legit?
Well, around the block.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys are open. So that being said, talk to me about life obligations, the things that get in the way, the things that are keeping you away. How do you get away with going out for a 6, 10, 12-hour ride on a weekend?
Well, we've got this. We've got the spectrum lined up on the rim.
I was about to say, you guys have, it's much more nuanced.
Good,
You're
okay.
married, and I have 2 cats, so.
Yeah, no, but I mean, the cat's got to be fucking fed, and you got to go to work in the morning too,
do,
and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, everything's automated with the cats, though, so I can leave them for a week. I mean, I'll say that it has made dating difficult.
Yeah?
Yeah, like trying to explain why you're gone every weekend, especially if you're training for something. Because the way that I've always trained for bike packing Grand Departs
is by bike packing.
Yeah, it's like I do a 2-day ride and I do a 3-day ride, and I just try to get weekends in, usually with Justin. And it's hard to explain that to somebody who that's not their interest. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it can be lonely, but that's why you find people to ride with. And that's the significance of riding with these 2 guys, is that like you can get better, but you can do it by getting friends as well and developing friendships. And so that's kind of the nuance of it, I think, at least for me.
Well, a couple things here, and I don't mean to put you on the spot or embarrass you, but I can honestly say he's probably the best looking guy at the bar. Couldn't we agree? Yeah.
Well,
I have nothing against your
Well,
mustache.
I was at work sweating all day.
Oh,
too,
okay,
so,
that's
yeah.
fine. That's fine. But second of all, I need to talk to you guys about bike packing, because I've talked on this show about the fact I have like a full gear of Ortley bags in there, but I haven't done anything
I
with
was
it yet.
listening.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, but what's a minimum for you guys? What's like, you said around the block, but
Oh well,
and how far do you imagine going?
Ethan put together a 100-mile overnighter, so we were gonna bike 50 miles, and I had this crazy idea that we'd get into camp, it would still be light out, we'd tell stories, have dinner on the camp stove. I forgot my stove. Brought the fuel, didn't bring the stove. And we hadn't planned for snow and rain, and that 50 miles took us 13 hours. So we were like,
Yeah, it did.
there were these
I would
cabins out there.
throw my bike in a fucking dumpster
Yeah,
after 13 hours.
Yeah, we
man.
crawled up on the porches of these cabins that were out there in
So-
at midnight.
yeah. Some tax accountants going, get off my porch.
And coming back the next day, there were tree hoists with the snow.
Yeah.
Really?
And
And reroutes.
Yeah, well, a lot of reroutes. And
So how far? What's the farthest you can imagine yourselves going?
How far does the chain go?
Really?
I mean, that's,
Oh man, that was
I mean,
badass.
that's
a
where I'm
great-
at on
that's a
it.
great
I mean,
response. Really?
yeah,
Really?
if I had the time and didn't have to go to work and
Yeah.
do all the things,
yeah,
somebody
you
rode
got-
around.
you
Somebody
got
rode
it.
around the world, right? It happened.
Yeah.
There you go.
Happens all the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But as far as like one go, like I'm comfortable with riding straight through 350 miles,
Really?
somewhere around there.
Comfortable. Wow.
Depends on the miles.
It's no
Sure.
Depends. Yeah.
yeah. It's weird though because like like we've been doing a bunch of 200 and 300 mile rides out in the Idaho Panhandle, and I did this thing down in Oregon that was 350, and that was 30,000 feet of climbing.
Jeez.
And it was actually compartmentalized in my mind in a way that it was easier than this flat as a pancake rail trail I rode to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Like it was the head game was so much easier. It is like, okay, I'm climbing. This is my life now. Like, woohoo! Now I'm descending.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
like just sitting, just sitting there turning pedals at 13, 14, 12 miles an hour for.
Would you say it's a mental game more at those longer
yeah.
distances?
Yeah,
that's the one you're struggling most against.
Yeah, we've all been with each other when we're in the hole.
Cracking.
Oh, yeah.
Cracking.
And I've never seen these guys lose their sense of humor.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never
it's
seen you
critical.
lose your sense of humor, Justin.
Yeah.
It's like you're like the Joker, man. It's just like
Let me tell you how I got these guys.
Yeah, and I'm hypothermiating right now.
Yeah.
This is hilarious.
So
Yeah.
we mentioned on the outset about your fueling options. There's no way you can carry enough food, and I have seen, and I'm closing my eyes right now because this is an audio podcast. I'm closing my eyes at some of the photographs I've seen from you guys on social media about the shit you're just taking anything that you can find at a gas station to refuel with. How does your system work on what many would consider a nail in your coffin? I mean, eating some of these like gas stations.
It's rough.
Yeah?
So I raced across Washington this year.
Yeah.
And I made the push from Wenatchee to Tico. It was 300 miles on the dot. And just 42 hours on the bike.
Oh my God.
I slept in Lind for like 15 minutes.
Where though? Let me interrupt.
right at-
where?
right-
Where did you sleep? On
Was
a
it a
ditch?
ditch
In
is
a
what he's asking.
campground? In
In
a
a chair.
hotel room?
In a chair.
fucking-
In a chair.
In a chair in front of a cafe.
Oh yeah.
There was a coffee shop, and so I went in. I says, got a coffee, and she says, well, they told me that you had some food in here. We don't have food.
Oh no.
Do you have anything to eat? And she says, yeah, we got these bars. And she's like, they're not very good, and this and that. And I look at them, and I'm like, this is chocolate, peanut butter. This is all the things I need.
Yeah.
I want all of them. So I buy like 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah, you're part-time vegan too, right?
Oh, yeah. And I am plant-based, so there is that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this is perfect.
Yeah.
So I go out and I sit down and I'm drinking this coffee. She comes out, she's smoking a cigarette on the curb. I says, hey, do you mind if I just lay my head back and take like a nap for like 15, 20 minutes? And she says, I got a wonderful couch in here.
Oh my God.
And I was like, that sounds really rad.
Well, that's a Rip Van Winkle right
That
there.
is
right
never
there.
to be seen again. Wakes up in an ice bath with his intestines gone.
Yeah. I says, that's really awesome to do, but I stink.
Yeah.
I says,
Yeah.
I haven't taken a bath in 200 miles. And she goes, oh, I appreciate that. I says, your couch and your customers probably do too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I
Wow.
laid my head back and set my alarm on my phone to go off because back to the competitive part, I knew there were 2 guys behind me by like a half hour. And I set my alarm for 20 minutes, woke up, and
That was it.
And it went off. I closed my eyes and it went off.
Wow.
And there again, you talk about the mental game. I woke up in the worst place I could have ever been. And it was just my mental, like, I was really focused the whole time, and then that happened and was a wreck for about an hour.
Really? But it slowly dissipated.
Slowly
and you
came
found
back,
yourself
yeah.
going
Figure your ways out to get back on the bike pedal, figure out things to make yourself.
Yeah, once you start pedaling, you kind of forget to be tired.
Yeah, because other things hurt.
Yeah.
You know, if you're up for 24 hours, you might as well be for 40 something. You know?
Yeah. So what's some of the worst stuff you guys have had to force down? Just hearing about these random bars that have probably been there since 1986. And then, what are some of the things that you're just like going, I need these calories? I mean, I've seen some of this stuff, mind you, from my experience on YouTube and watching people just like going, I'm grabbing gummy bears, I'm grabbing this kind of stuff. But, what keeps you going? What do you look for? In
My favorite,
scenarios?
if I'm riding out of home here, I will grab a 100-mile burrito from My Fresh Basket Case, which is a grocery store.
Yeah.
They make this lump of it's like this log of a breakfast burrito. And
So you take it with you beforehand. You leave with it.
yeah.
Okay.
Like I'll grab it the day before and I'll start the ride on that, get about halfway through with it, and then move into a waffle PBJ. And then, by the time the waffle PBJ is done, maybe I've got a banana on hand.
Yeah, he's got one right here on the bar with him. Yeah.
The banana kind of smooths out the stomach a little bit, and but like we're all three of us, and anyone we ride with, we're all side eyeing each other. Like Ethan, we were on the spiced latte route, which is this 200-mile thing that he put together this summer. It was fan-freaking-tastic. But like there was one resupply on that.
Yeah.
What was in the first 100 miles or something like that?
Yeah, right at that point.
Yeah. There was plenty after that, but it's like he grabbed this fruit pie thing and
Hostess?
Dude, these are like off-brand.
It was totally
Sarah
off.
Lee or something like that.
I've called the Hostess fruit pies power pies since the 1980s.
Yeah, like
they're
Hostess is gourmet compared to what this was.
Really?
We had a 3.5-hour climb after that, and I was, he pulled that thing out up on the mountain, and I was looking at that, and I was like, oh man,
Why didn't I pick that?
I'm going to prison shank you right now for that thing.
I would kill someone for that.
Man, so back to the food question.
Yeah.
I only pick things that I want to eat, and I think that's part of these rides is that you have to eat all the time, and so it's important to have things that you actually want to eat.
Yeah.
So for me, it's Twinkies. Like it's always Twinkies. And when I finished the Tour Divide, it took me months to stop like eating Twinkies because I was eating them so often, and they were like
the first step is admitting you have a problem.
Yeah.
So I mean, for me, it's actually not eating like stuff you don't like. I would oftentimes grab a carton of ice cream and put it in my bag, and then like 2 or 3 hours later, I'd pull it out and eat it. Yeah, I learned that one from Lyle Wilcox. And you're drinking it at that point.
You know who Lyle Wilcox is,
yeah,
right?
It took me a while. I've had one listener who said I didn't know who Lyle Wilcox was. And I've been bitter about that for like 12 years. So I'm
sorry.
Yeah. No, you're fine. I just, fuck that.
It's an inside joke.
Yeah. No, so is there a schedule? Do you guys or do you just keep it coming in?
We, Threethan and I can sometimes get Fridays off together, so that'll be like a Friday, Saturday.
Well, I mean, eating during a ride. Eating during a ride.
15 minutes, take a bite out of something.
Really? Yeah. Okay. So it's a constant grazing.
So whatever you're hungry for. I heard on a podcast just last week that, if you're running type or zone 3 and above, your body's burning carbs. But if you're running zone 2, which is where we tend to hang out, you're burning fat.
Yeah.
And so, I tend to hang out with like fatty, meaty, cheesy things like that. And then, I'll throw in a fruit pie or a waffle PBJ. Or, something like that.
Yeah, I kind of do that 60 carb an hour
Yeah.
Wow, you
Really?
guys are
Kinda
so
just keep-
calculated.
You guys are thinking about it.
Yeah,
I
And
know.
then-
Well, I think a Twinkie covers all the
Exactly.
food groups.
Just
yeah.
okay. That's 400 calories.
But I agree. I
Down
think
the hatch.
I think it's eating what you want to.
Yeah.
I think palate fatigue is such a big thing once you
Oh,
get out there and
God,
you eat, and you're just next thing you know, you're like, I don't even want to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude,
I
You're
run into that
20
all the
miles
time.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I run into that all the time because I'll take certain things with me and then I just get bored with it. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, God.
Yeah.
Something grainy sounds like nightmare right now. I'd rather, burn at the stake.
No, that's like Justin one time pulled out chocolate covered ginger.
Yeah.
Candy
Candy ginger. Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
man.
Oh, that smooths out the stomach.
Are you saying that in a good way?
No, yeah, in a good way. It'll
Really?
take you out of any hole you're in.
Yes.
Really?
Any hole.
Whenever I was having stomach issues on the divide, I would eat one of the ginger candies.
Yeah.
And it would always reset my stomach.
So
It's not the same as taking a bite out of the
Yeah.
ginger root, right, Justin?
Oh,
Yeah.
God, yeah. The straight ginger root. Yeah, that was
Oh,
something that.
that's got to burn.
Oh, yeah.
And
burns.
eat away your enamel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. So do you guys ride with a collection of other groups, or do you stay within your own stereotype, so to speak?
I ride with everybody.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do a Tuesday night ride out of Vertical Earth, and
Yeah.
I ride with all those guys, and then I ride with these guys on the weekends. And then, well, actually, that's really the two groups. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's important to mix it up.
Yeah. I don't have a bouncy bike right now, but I'm shopping.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right on. I've seen some aerial shots of you, which I consider absolute insanity. But I've seen you descend Mount Spokane, our local hill, with this style that I can only just consider your own, where I'm just going, he is leaning down off the side of the bike where your ass is below the top tube and you're just railing around a corner, and I'm just going, I will never see that man again because I want to see tomorrow.
There's a great picture from Cross Washington of that exact same thing. You coming
Yeah.
through.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a great
He's
picture.
hanging off the edge.
In the rain, that one that just came out. There was
No.
one that just came out that was a gorgeous
Yeah,
shot.
that was a good
Yeah,
shot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was Seth Dubois took that one. He was the organizer of one of the organizers from the Odyssey of the Vogue, which is a 350-mile race through the Oregon Coast Range.
Wow.
And yeah, so he was out there taking pictures on that one. But yeah, Josh Cotto, who he's won Tour Divide, and he's one of the ultra, like
Yeah.
like when I bust out a triple century, or that's like a half day for him. But he's also one hell of a photographer, and
Yeah.
he'll go out and take some guerrilla photography. But that was something that I hanging my ass hot sideways off the seat to air the guys out.
Yeah,
that was,
it's taint patrol is what I call it.
yeah, exactly.
Is there in your cycling life, in your evolution of your cycling life, is there a limit to this, or are you guys just living for the now?
Well, right now I'm able to, like the 350-mile thing is easy enough to knock out in a week and do it somewhere, where I can visit family.
Sure.
Because I did this thing in Florida down in February, the Hurricane 300, and you wouldn't expect to get the hell beat out of you in Florida, but yeah, it was like swamps and balls deep river crossings with alligators, and
Really?
my hand went numb for 6 months.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because I rode the wrong bike. I mean, there was like 100 miles of fun, flowy single track.
Yeah.
It was nuts. But it's like I cracked myself for what would it take me, like 45 hours to finish that thing, and then hanging out with my mom for the rest of the week.
Yeah.
Paddleboarding.
That helps.
Yeah.
Have that mix, that things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like I do have, maybe 2024. I'm eyeballing Tour Divide.
Okay.
That'll be like,
Hey, you didn't tell me that.
it's still an idea in progress. It's one that terrifies me a little bit less than a little tired. The 2,700-mile Tour Divide terrifies me less than Colorado Trail Race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Breck Epic or anything like that. It's all races though. Breck Epic is like a full-on multi-day race though. So
Yeah, but I mean, the Breck Epic, I think that's like a stage race, right?
yeah, it is.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Not your
Colorado Trail Race, it's like, okay, you're up above timberline. It's like, yeah, you might get struck by lightning up here.
Oh shit!
You know, hailstorms are going to come through, and yeah.
Is there a shelf life, guys, or is this just going to keep going? You're going to just deal with your cats and be good, or is there a limit to all
You
this?
brought up the cats again.
Well, you brought it up first, you know.
I don't know. Like it's a stage of life thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see myself doing this forever. I do it because it gives me something to look forward to, but it's just because that's where I'm at in life. Like I don't have a lot of other things to look forward to, and so these rides are a means of having something to work towards, and I think that works well with my personality. But I don't know, if I had a family or something, that could easily be more important. And it's interesting because you see a lot of endurance riders come into this at a later point in life. I'm not calling you out, Justin, but you almost like catch the second wind like a little bit later in life because you all of a sudden desire it again. And so I don't know, like for me it's almost like, okay, I'll take it a year at a time, and then eventually it'll probably run out for me. But I'll always ride a bike. It just it evolves into a different desire.
I think that's the key thing here is you know, I started, you know, you guys jokingly said at the onset of the show that you considered yourself I asked you about your cycling career, and you all mentioned something at birth or that early, you know. And I think, you know, I talk about lifelong cyclists, and I talk about the fact that some of the best friendships you make, some of the best experiences you can relate to, many times regards to straddling a top tube.
Yeah.
And that's what keeps you going. Whether you're able to find the time to do these incredible epic rides or not, you're still a cyclist, and you can still. I have people on the show who haven't been on a bike in months, but they can still walk up to you and talk to you about the experiences, and they can still relate to it because that's their life. So, yeah, you know, and it'll come and it'll go. But, you know, someday you find yourself with 17 bikes hanging in your fucking basement. You know,
and you're damn proud of it.
Yeah, exactly. So
I don't see myself stopping.
Yeah.
I really don't. I ride bikes for me and for my mental health and all of this. And I don't see me stopping. I don't want to stop. My family's starting to get into it a little bit, which is rad. My daughter wanted to get into school lacrosse, and I was super stoked about that. But yeah, I don't see me wanting to stop. I like challenging myself. I like pushing myself. One of the deals I made with myself was to every year do something bigger. Yeah. And bigger and bigger and go from there. And my first time I ever did it was like my first Century Scordafondo. I've only been riding for 7 or 8 years. I haven't been riding very long. And so every year I found something harder and harder and harder and
funner and funner
and funner and funner and funner. And the rad thing is, like we talked about, family. My family is super into it, and my wife and daughter are insanely supportive over it. I trained so much over the winter and then early year to do Cross Washington this year. And I told him, I was like, well, I'll just take the rest of the year off and I'll just ride bikes, and whatever happens, happens. Yeah. But I got my moment out of the way and go from there. So it's kind of the same thing.
That's the proper amount of give and take. Yeah, exactly. So I know, as I asked you guys, I think before I hit record, about events that you guys have in the future. And Justin, I know we need to probably plug one very important one.
Oh, yes.
Talk to me about what's happening for the rest of the year. Most of us roadies are just going like, well, shit, that's it.
Winter is coming.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not doing fucking cross.
Gravel roads are still roads.
Yeah, I get my ass handed to me in cross, so I'm not doing that. But talk to me about you got a big boy coming up.
Okay, well, I started, in the vein of the Midnight Century, which is just this show up and do it. Spokane Institution.
And we've talked about that on this show a lot. Yeah. So people know what's going on.
Yeah, and so that inspired me to put together, originally it was the Dirty Spokanza. Yeah. And then there was that thing where, Dirty Kanza. They sent me a cease and desist letter.
They did? No, really?
Oh yeah. I got a cease and desist letter.
You're shitting me.
And then 2 weeks later, they had to change their name. And then after and
they fucking sent you.
Oh yeah.
They were worried.
Oh yeah, well get this. I was going to change the name to
What a bunch of assholes!
yeah. Well, that was their law department. That's the way.
Oh my god.
Well, they knew that this was a ratter ride.
Yeah.
I mean, we get it.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah. But when they changed the name to Unbound Gravel, I thought, well, I'll change our name to Unground Bavel. And I'm going to get a collection of cease and desist letters.
Good guys at your doors in black suits and helicopters.
Yeah. So Lifetime comes up with this ride in Arkansas called the Big Sugar. I'm like, Shig Booger, right? Yeah.
Shig Booger was out. Yeah, I'd ride with Shig Booger.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's a one-day event, and it just started with a ride with Thomas Yates, and then I came up with a name for it, and then like, oh shit, there needs to be a sticker, and then I'll put together a Facebook event page, and then a dozen people showed up, and then we went through the name change, and I rebranded as the Gravel Flamdangle.
Yeah.
So
three distances.
We've got 3 routes. There's the 32-mile Group W route. And the 63-mile minor devastation route, which summits Mount Spokane, and the 90-mile major devastation route, which also summits Spokane and has a shit ton of bushwhacking and single track, and that thing has. I did the recon on Saturday with Jason Ostreicher.
Yeah,
and.
Jason's been on the show before.
He's been on the show. He's the 6th place finisher of the Trans Am bike race.
Yeah,
and
you're his biggest fan.
Yeah,
he giggled like a little fanboy. He's like, I am.
Yeah,
I like him.
Yeah, it was so nice to spend the day with him. But he didn't need a lot of exercise, so we were able to ride together.
Sure.
Yeah. That one's like 10,500 feet of climbing. Oh man. And this year it's just a low profile kind of thing. So it is next Sunday. It's always the first Sunday in October.
Okay.
And, it interferes with cross season. But next year I'm teaming up with a race promoter, Down East Racing out of Olympia, Washington.
Okay.
And we're gonna go legit with permits and insurance,
sure,
and entry fees.
It's only a matter of time, man.
Sponsors, yeah.
Nice.
But we'll also have a team of volunteers that can really fuck with people who are trying to win this goddamn thing. Because the shtick has always been winners got to buy the tacos.
Okay.
And like Daniel Perry, he's a hell of a rider from Seattle, came out and won it a couple of years ago. $75, man, cough it up. We got a lot of tacos here. Yeah.
And he
Instead
did?
of winning a prize, you pay out a prize.
Yeah. And then second prize, that's something a little better, and third prize is like, that's the primo spot. Except for the brick preems. We've got preems. We had the big air preem. It used to be in the jump park when it rode out of downtown. Now that it's going out of the Big Barn Brewery, I just have like a cinder block and a sketchy board, piece of plywood that,
sure.
There's the big air preem. But the brick preem, up at the entrance to Mount Spokane, I put a brick up there with a sticker on it. And, people that have hauled that thing over the mountain and back to the finish line have gotten,
something special for them.
Yeah. They got $50.
God.
So, they're basically going pro.
Geez, that's better than paying for tacos.
Yeah.
So, add the extra weight.
Yeah.
Right on. So, do you want people to search for it this year, or do you want them to wait?
The Gravel Brain Trust is the website and it is, it's gone backwards. It was like bad, and now it's like, now it's worse than bad. So I'm hoping to get some help with that. There's Down East Racing at the very least will have it on Bike Reg.
Okay.
For next year. Next week it'll be just sign up by showing up.
Yeah.
And I'm not. I'm gonna put some water up by the gate into Mount Spokane for the folks coming down on the minor devastation route.
I really hope this spirit and this stuff isn't fucked over by insurance and registrations and organizations and sponsors, because that's gravel's got it right now, and I love the fact that guys like you come up with these events and are just like, oh, let's just go fucking do it. But you got to be paranoid. Oh, somebody's going to crash and they're going to take my house from me or something like that.
Yeah, like
you
last
know?
time we did it, there were like 75 people that showed up.
Yeah.
And one of Chairman's buddies crashed.
Yeah.
Yeah, bad.
Yeah.
And
you're,
ride him
and
down the hill.
You're terrified of that now, and then it becomes this whole different element, and that's hard. So, I hope we can keep it. I hope we can keep it. We're such a litigious society here in the U.S., and that I hope it doesn't fuck it up. So, keep it up, man. Keep it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
keep it up. Keep doing it, and keep coming up with funky ideas, man. Because that's cool. That's really cool.
I don't know if he doesn't have anything that isn't a funky idea.
No, I agree.
And I love it.
Yeah,
It's
I
good.
agree. Let's end with some speed round, gentlemen. Okay, you got to answer quickly, though. So I'm going to ask you just random questions, and we can start with Ethan and just go down
It's like
around the
Family
circle.
Feud style?
Kind of,
Okay.
but they're all cycling related, okay?
Okay.
So you got to be honest with me, okay? So question number 1, tire pressure. Big deal or don't worry about it?
Oh, worry about it.
Worry about it. Big deal. Big deal.
Big deal, especially on a mountain bike. It's
Okay.
22 in the back and 21 in the front.
All right.
I destroy a back wheel and then air up.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, it's a big deal.
Big deal. Aero bars on gravel bikes. Yes, no, or hell no?
Hell no.
Hell no.
I don't ride around the block without aero bars.
Oh, so that's a yes.
I just took mine off.
You just took your socks. So that's a meh. Socks under or over leg warmers?
Oh, under.
Under.
Oh, yeah, the little zippy thing on the leg warmers, that'll
Yeah.
dig into my leg, yeah.
So
Yeah,
you're under.
Yeah.
Okay.
I go both. It depends on the
You go
socks.
both? All right. All right.
Go both
Question number 4. Does yes or no, does Justin put too much shit on his bike?
Yeah.
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 Justin, do you put too much shit on your bike?
Until someone's bonking, and then I pull out the 10 pounds of food.
Oh,
you know?
I always rely on Justin.
Yeah.
He's a
Always.
fucking rolling refrigerator.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Aaron Boatman's been licking wrappers for the last 50 miles. And I pull out this 10-pound bag of cheese curds.
And no, he can't. He's got more and more that he can get on there. He keeps telling me it's only 15 pounds.
I feel so bad for his bikes. They're just crying for help.
Yeah.
It's just, every time I look at your bike, I hear this Sarah McLachlan song, In the Arms of an Angel. Just just going, just shoot it. Just let that bike die. Next one, best mid-ride fueling option. If you could pick anything.
It's probably chocolate milk.
Chocolate milk,
Gas station hot dogs.
gas station hot dog,
Oh, Doritos.
Doritos.
Ooh, 3 Doritos, man.
They also are a great fire starter. Best pre and post of a 100-miler. Pre, I talk about the beverage you would have before a ride, and the post is the beverage you would have after a ride.
It's got to be a beverage?
Yes,
Oh, no.
pre and post.
I'm not much of a beverage guy, I guess. Would chocolate milk count again?
Yeah, yeah.
Probably chocolate
Both
milk.
before and after?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
just
Coffee?
coffee.
Pre. Yeah.
Coffee pre.
Yeah.
What kind? How do you have your coffee?
I leave my coffee in the hands of the professionals,
Oh,
so-
no, you don't. You like the thing with all the whipped cream on it.
Holy
Yeah,
shit.
well, I mean, I showed up at Threathen's house here one morning. He's like, hey, I'll swing by and get some coffee. You're like, you have to go to Florence, freaking Italy, to get a cup of coffee as good as he makes.
I got an espresso machine.
Yeah.
What's your post?
Post, recover, I think.
First thing you read for.
Oh, well, you know what?
Recover.
I retract that. Lagunitas Hop.
Lagunitas. Okay.
Yeah. It's an NA hoppy water kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. I've had some of those. They're that is really good.
Oh, man.
That is really good.
Yeah.
Locally, Lumberbeard is making some of that, I guess.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Coffee.
Coffee pre.
Yeah, black.
Black, just regular.
coffee.
You guys are keeping
Just
it simple. I like it. Hence the suffering in the middle of nowhere. You're not going to get specific, right?
Yeah.
What's the post?
Oh, it doesn't happen all the time, but the best of all times, root beer float.
Root beer float.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Takes it
Millwood
right
Brewery.
back.
Yep.
Yep.
Best bike you've ever owned.
Well, the best bike I've ever owned was that single speed that fixed gear that got hit by the car.
Oh.
Yeah, R.I.P. It was
Okay.
a civilian hustle. It was blue. It was really nice.
Okay.
I'd have to say the evil chamois Hagar that I have right now.
That's the one you have right now.
It's my favorite one, yeah.
All right on. Right on.
I love them all equally, but I have to go with my roadie.
Your road bike?
Yeah.
What is it?
Just a Trek.
Okay.
Yeah, and I love it.
Fashion faux pas that people just need to get over, and I know what you're going to say. But, yeah.
I wear shorts. I almost never wear Lycra.
You don't
Yeah, just I like a good pair of shorts.
deal with it.
Yeah.
Can I ask the first base layer that is underneath those?
Pair of underwear.
Pair
I'm
of
on
underwear.
the no chamois game, actually.
Oh my God, my
Yeah.
taint is.
We didn't even get into butt care on this.
Didn't.
on this episode.
It's
That's a whole
it's
nother
both
episode.
simple and complicated.
Wow, Justin. Fashion faux pas people need to get over.
Oh yeah, bib straps over the jersey.
Oh God!
I get that. Yeah,
I did it.
Over the jersey?
yeah, I want to throw him out right now. Yeah.
Ew, that makes me nervous.
I've seen him do it. It's painful.
I was coming down Antoine this Saturday, which is like more than halfway into the major devastation route, and I realized like, oh yeah, I've had my vest off for hours, and bib straps are still over the jersey. But like if you got to stop and dig a hole, you don't want to have to take your shirt off, especially if it's cold.
Fashion faux pas people need to get over.
I don't know. I'm a firm believer in if you look good, you ride good. So,
I love the way you think, man.
I mean,
The third eye mirror too. I guess that would be my other.
You
thing.
ride with those things too.
that's what I was expecting you to say. Yeah.
He's just kind of a lot of violations in one specific body, isn't he?
And we're in chicken costumes season right
I've
now.
seen that.
Yeah.
I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that. Two more, guys. If you had $1,000 to spend on cycling right now, what would you buy?
Not aero bars, that's for sure. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not the best at this.
Yeah, it's okay.
I just buy a ton of tires. I love different tires.
That's a good call.
Yeah.
That's a good call, especially with all the different terrains and you guys are talking about
Yeah.
the fact that you all took tire pressure seriously.
Yeah, I mean, you see those tires I rolled in today.
Yeah.
It really would have been nice to have like some 35s,
Something
but
a little bit
those
smaller.
are 2.4s. So.
Yeah.
Well, I'm in the process of finishing my salsa cutthroat.
Okay.
So there's a suspension fork going on that thing.
Right on. Lauv?
No, this one will be a Ren Sports upside down fork.
Wow.
A 110 mil. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's my extra chunky.
Why are salsa cutthroats always available online? Why is everybody trying to sell a salsa cutthroat? Am I the only one who notices that? It's like, Jesus Christ, why does everybody want to get rid of these things? It's a good bike, right?
It is a fantastic
Salsas are legendary.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, sorry. $1,000 to spend.
Oh,
Well.
I'm looking into building a dymo set for lights and everything. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, there we
well
go.
spent.
Yeah.
Last one. Worst song to get stuck in your head whilst riding a marathon distance. Worst song that has ever been stuck in your head. Let's go worst and best. Or artist. I guess I'll allow you to go a little bit broad.
Worst. That Baby Shark song is awful. So I would
That's
say
a
Baby
good-
Shark.
That might win.
The best one,
And it could be an artist, too. You
it
can,
can be an artist.
yeah.
I don't know. Anything by The Clash is like really nice to
Okay.
ride to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
You've
It's
gone
it's
up
got
the
that
cool factor.
driving thing to it.
You've gone up the cool factor. I like
thanks,
that.
man.
Yeah. Not like you didn't in the first place, but yeah.
Yeah. Well,
You're going to be like, it's going to be Weird Sisters, isn't it? Something like that.
He knows you.
Well, anytime I'm on a ride, I usually come up with a song. Like
Yeah.
my wife and I were doing a little 3-day trip up in Canada for our anniversary this year, and I thought it'd be cool to ride the BC Epic 1000, which is 1,000 kilometers.
Yeah.
About a day shorter than Cross Washington, but like major backcountry. But I was thinking like I want to fuel that ride entirely on poutine, which is a Canadian thing.
God.
Gravy and cheese curds.
I'm worried about you.
Gravy and cheese curds on French fries.
Yeah.
I just had some Saturday night.
Yeah. It's like I only want to eat it when I'm riding like that. But then the song "Smells Like Poutine Spirit" popped into my head, and we had a day to sit by the lake on that trip, and I wrote out the lyrics. And
Can you name some of your other titles of songs?
oh yeah, well I actually recorded one, and maybe you can put that in this
several.
episode.
There's one with my kid's name in it,
Oh
too.
yeah. There's the man
Man
with
with
the
a
hammer.
Hammer. Yeah,
the man with the
classic.
hammer. I've actually got a video for that one. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, I just did I don't know if it's a Weird Al or Queen spoof. It's another one rides the bike. Okay. And I put it together for the ride that Threethan and I did. I think it was the spiced latte, and then I
think so. Yeah,
my camera was missing that week, so I didn't film that ride. But yeah, it's all about climbing and cracking on.
So you're not getting stuck on anybody else's songs; they're just popping into your head. It's random shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
No Sleep Till Tico.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that'll get you.
I remember that one.
You're releasing an album at some point.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I love music.
Yeah.
So
You're
I'll have
good?
to go genre. I listen to a lot of really random things. Like I'll listen to a lot of disco, like Bee Gees and stuff like that. And then next thing you know, it'll go to metal.
Yeah.
And so I listen to everything.
Do you guys listen when you ride? Do you guys take headphones when you ride?
I do. I actually listen to a lot more like motivational stuff and things like that when I'm riding.
Okay.
But I don't really listen unless I'm by myself.
Yeah.
If I'm by myself, then
I'm kind of the same way. Yeah.
Because we're usually, engaged in really intelligent conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I'm
This is stupid. Why do we do this?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. If I'm riding solo, I will starve myself on music until I'm hitting the wall and getting a visit from the man with the hammer, and then when I need the dopamine bump, I'll turn on. There's a Brian Jonestown Massacre playlist that I have and all. It's like, and sometimes like music will hit me weird, and I'll just start sobbing like a freaking banshee, and in a good way.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I wouldn't want anyone to hear that because I would be committed instantly.
Yeah. No, there it is.
Crying on your bike.
I finished. I think I finished Belgian waffle, and I was. My wife was, "How are you?" And I'm like, "I have no idea why I'm crying right now. I seriously don't. I have no idea why I'm crying. It was a bike ride, and I finished it, but I was just a bastard.
That's when you knew it. That was the joy.
Yeah, it must have been. Yeah, no, it was great. So,
what do you listen to, Patrick?
I'm all across the board. I made a joke on this podcast that if I hear Kate Bush is running up that hill at any given point in time on a bike ride, I'm going to kill somebody.
But I'll bring it this weekend.
Yeah, there we go. But I'm kind of old school. I'm grunge, punk, stuff like that. So but I did see Green Day in the Tri-Cities once when they were all about 4'5", and I've been a Green Day fan ever since.
Nice.
Yeah, they're a good band. So, you guys, I don't know if we've gained any perspective, but I love trying to at least empathize, and I don't mean that as an insult, because I don't think I could ever get out and go and do a 350 miler. I don't think I could. And I know there are cyclists who are listening to this who are going, "Fuck yeah, let's do it," or the same guy who's going, "Still don't know who Wilcox is." But
well, I do it a lot slower than Bike Fit Sam. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
Plug for that guy, man.
Yeah. But to be able to understand that we all do it, and we all love it, and we all do what we do, and the thing I find that the more people I meet in the gravel world, I'm entrenched to a certain degree into it, but the more I love to step away from that roadie elitism sometime. And people joke, and it's a stereotype about roadies being elitist, but it kind of rings true in a lot of situations. And I think a lot more roadies need to lighten the fuck up and go ride some gravel rides every once in a while and have some fun.
I think all the roadies do have gravel bikes.
They are now. Yeah, they are now. So, yeah,
but on that note, I totally agree, because they now have them, and
it's fucking up roadie. It's fucking up gravel. Yeah.
Well, I don't want to say it's fucking up, because it's still just bikes on dirt now.
Says the roadie.
Says the roadie, right? And
well, didn't you take 6 guys up to the Sunrise ride this year? Yeah. So the first year we did it, it was me and Justin, and we put that out to everyone.
Yeah.
No one showed up, but I had half my team go.
Yeah.
I mean, they were like, "Let's go, let's do it." So
several of them were at the Midnight Century this year. I saw several of them there. All good guys. And I think hopefully we'll get to that point where we all just relax and ride our bikes, man. Especially when it comes to advocacy and stuff like that. We all just got to fucking get on the same page.
Yeah, it's just bikes.
Yeah, right? There we go. You guys, thanks for your times. And here's to all cyclists learning to shut the fuck up and get along, regardless of their bike's type. Except for Ethan, who rode here on big-ass tires, and I'm going to judge him for it.
I was comfortable.
There we go.
He did not have a third eye mirror or aero bars.
Yeah, and his bibs weren't even invisible, even though he wasn't wearing cycling shorts.
I was wearing a pair of slacks.
No clammy shammy. Thanks, you guys.
All right.
Does it explain anything? I'm not sure. But what it does is it brings us together. It lets us all understand that we're all just cyclists out there going for it, regardless of whatever terrain and distance and bike choice we decide to use. That's what the Packfiller is about. It's just people who like riding the two-wheeled lifestyle. Hey, thanks for tuning in to the first of our 2022-2023 interviews season. You might have noticed at the top of the show, we don't have a sponsor for the interview season this year, but, hey, that's because we just got the ball rolling. If you or if anybody you know might be interested in doing something like that, drop us a line, patrick@packfiller.com or one of our social media channels. Other than that, hey, if you didn't know, we're on YouTube live every week with our show here in the Rim Break Bar. Be sure, like, subscribe, tell a friend, and all those sorts of things. We will catch you next time on the next episode of the Packfiller Interviews.